Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Premodern at the request of Patreon subscriber Ellendrill, who also asked me to shout out his Instagram, which focuses on Premodern stuff. If you want to see pictures of dope Premodern decks and piles of Mastercores and stuff like that, that is at Ellendrill on Instagram. The deck that I've been asked to play today is special to me for a variety of reasons. One, it comes from one of my dear friends, Dr. Rich Shea, the Atog Lord. 2, it contains my favorite card of all time in Magic the Gathering, Tinker. And 3, it's kind of the same as 2, but it's the deep lore. Those of you who have been following me and what I do for a while and know the BoshNRoll lore, the name BoshNRoll comes from Bosh Iron Golem, which is a card I became infatuated with in the George W. Bosh extended deck in the early 2000s, and that deck was this deck, except updated for extended rather than Premodern, a format that didn't exist at the time. 4 Tinkers, Shivan Reefs, City of Traders, Ancient Tombs, blue-red artifact stuff. This is the shell that made me love Tinker. This is the shell that made me love Bosh. That Tinker Bosh deck was the reason I made the first original Bosh-inspired screen name on the internet, which was Bosh 1624, because 16 and 24 were the increments of damage Bosh frequently did to your opponent, which evolved into BoshNRoll over the years. Needless to say, I'm very excited about this deck. I've mentioned in my other Premodern videos that this format is built a lot on nostalgia, and it's nostalgia for a time of Magic that I wasn't playing competitively. I did own cards and stuff, but I was a kid playing 7-person multiplayer with 100-card 5-color decks with my friends at the 8th grade lunch table. I was not grinding the Pro Tour. However, this deck, this shell, is the first time I saw a magazine, a deck list that did well at a Pro Tour. I wrote up a list, I went to the local store, I bought Tinkers, I bought City of Traders, I bought Ancient Tombs, I bought Shivan Reefs. This deck in particular is one that I have played some version of in real life. This deck's a bit different than the extended George W. Bosh deck, though, obviously because Mirrodin is not legal, and we're just talking about different things here. There's no Mindslaver, but this is a combo deck built around Tinker, and the Tinker thing we're tutoring for is Phyrexian Devourer, the big Dorito itself. When this creature's power is 7 or greater, sacrifice it, and then you can exile the top card of your library to put X+1 counters on this creature, where X is the exiled card's mana value. On the surface, this is a push your luck mechanic. It's how big can I make this thing before it kills itself? Can I roll the dice and make it a 6/6 and be down with it for a while? But Richard Garfield has no power here. We are abusing the system. Sacrificing this when it has 7 or more power is a triggered ability that you can respond to by exiling more cards out of the graveyard, or out of your deck. Which means you can give this thing power, or +1 counters equal to the total mana value of your deck, before it sacrifices itself to one of the triggers before you let it resolve. And if we're doing that, we have 8 ways to kill. 4, Altar of Dementia. Sack a creature, target player mills cards equal to the creature's power. Just mill your opponent for 60, and they die on their next draw step. Or Fling. Get Phyrexian Devourer up to 20, and nug ya. Everything else in this deck is in service of doing that. There are Tinker decks that have a toolbox of like a Triskelion and a Tanglewire and a this or a that. That's not what we're doing here. This is an A+B combo deck. We need this A and one of these 8 Bs, and we're going to try to kill the opponent. We've got 3 defense grid to defend ourselves. We've got Chromatic Sphere, Mind Stone, Impulse, Tinker, and Factor Fiction to find the pieces. The sideboard is Xantid Swarm, Pyroblast, that stuff that beats counterspells. We've got Pyroclasm to keep ourselves alive long enough to get to the combo. Temporal Fissure, Rushing River, Hoodwink. These are all to bounce hate pieces. That's your Null Rods or your Engineered Plagues. Engineered Plague, naming Phyrexian or Construct, just kills the Devourer, so you have to be able to answer that. And the only kind of pivot into something else as a Phyrexian processor, where if you can't combo off for some reason, you could tinker this and make some big O's over a longer game. Hyper-focused, very exciting. I get to play Tinker, my favorite card. Let's do it. This is Devourer combo. I'm on the draw in round 1, and this hand does have grid, then a bunch of digging. If my opponent's doing anything aggressive, like goblins or any kind of land destruction, this hand is suspicious. But I am into it. I have half of my combo. I have a lot of ways to dig, and if they are a counterspell deck, defense grid is just the nuts. Forest, probably not a great sign. Sabo's Web. Alright, now I have a cantrip. I'm going to lead on Crystal Vein, just in case I do get wastelanded. I care about that less than Shivan Reef. Brushland. Okay, this does look like one of the green-white Armageddon decks. I'm going to play Web here, because that's Tinker fodder. I don't think I actually need Defense Grid here. And the City of Traders is huge, because that gets Fact or Fiction online. Wooded Foothills. Oh, it's Enchantress. Sure. Okay. Yeah, I guess... Is Brushland? Yeah, the mana is bad. Alright, yeah, never mind. Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about, is what I'm saying. Oh, alright. Well, this is almost the win. I could just Impulse here. In Fact or Fiction sees as many cards as Impulse. I need 8 mana to win all at once. Or 6 mana to put the thing into play, pass. Don't really want to do that. I have 2, 4, 5, 6. I could just play Devourer this turn and pass. Seal of Cleansing would wreck my life if I did that. What am I impulsing for? How do I get to 8 mana all at once? I have 3 Lotus Petals in the deck, which means there's 2 that are unaccounted for. I think I want to impulse right now, and that could inform, like if I find a Mind Stone or something, I might want to power it out. Well, I did find another Petal and another City. So City goes 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 next turn. All right, I'm going to take City of Traders. I'm going to play out Defense Grid, and then I will try to win next turn. Seal of Cleansing. That's fine. Played around that. Mirror's Guile, don't care. Zera's Sanctum, that's suddenly 3 more mana. Okay. Oh, and I found Tinker. That could save me a bunch of mana on this line. Okay, I'll play Lotus Petal. 1, 2, City. 3, 4, 5, 6. Devourer. Alright, this should work. I don't need to do anything with the Tinker. Okay, they're just trusting me that I have the Fling. I appreciate it. Okay, Enchantress is what we're up against. Bouncing permanents seems like the way I would need to interact with this opponent. Bounce target artifact, enchantment, or land. Bounce target non-land permanent. I can sack a land to bounce a second one. Temporal Fissure is really interesting to me because this card seems crazy. And like the spot you set it up, what do you do? Like Petal, Chromatic Sphere, Cycle Sphere, bounce 4 things in a turn? That's probably what you actually do, but I don't think I need Defense Grid versus this deck. Yeah, just looking at a list, it looks like Aura of Silence, Seal of Cleansing are things I need to worry about for the most part. Sabo's Web doesn't turn off any of the lands they play. It is a cantrip that is material for Tinker, but I think I can live without that. I don't think I want to be Phyrexian processing. I think I want to just win. Though, I mean, Sabo's Web is a blank. Okay. I will try this like this. Okay, I have access to Hoodwink. I could try to power out this Phyrexian Devourer, but if they just destroy that after I pay 6 life or whatever, and then, yeah, with Ancient Tomb. I do have Altar plus Devourer. I think I'm going to keep. I don't like the processor. I do like everything else. Wild Growth is in. Okay, mana's exciting. We like mana. I think I want to just jam out Altar of Dementia. That does give them a window to go after it, but my deck's full of artifacts, so okay. Meanwhile, if I just top deck City of Traders, I win. They're playing out the Lotus Petals in case my opponent had Aura of Silence, but they weren't showing Aura of Silence with the mana they were representing. They would have had to, like, use a green to play a 1-mana green enchantment, then play Serra Sanctum to get Aura of Silence online. All right, City of Traders for the win. Let's go. City of Brass. That's the wrong city! We built this city on Brass and Death. Okay, City of Brass. Hoodwink is an instant. I think I would like to play out this Chromatic Sphere. And I can just like cycle it to cast Hoodwink in the end step. Yeah, that was actually super close. Exciting stuff. Maybe if I had been more aggressive with the Sphere early, but no, there was no spot where like it would have cost me Lotus Petal to play the Sphere and see another card, and the Lotus Petal is one of the things I'm counting on here. Okay. Seal of Cleansing actually is annoying here because they can blow up my altar. And there it is. Miri's Guile draws a card. I can end step bounce the Seal of Cleansing, and then they have to decide if they want it in their hand for later or gone. All right, cycle this off, Hoodwink the Seal, give myself the out, or deal with the Seal, either way. All right, that's gone. Fling is here. This Phyrexian Processor might be terrible. That might have been a complete miscalculation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here I would have to top deck a 2-mana source, which the deck does play. Double Miri's Guile. The second one doesn't do anything. Gaia's Blessing, targeting Seal of Cleansing. Okay. That shuffles away the 2 cards under the one they just drew from Miri's Guile. Build your own Sensei's Top Fetch Land situation. Enchantress's Presence. Okay, opponent is tapped out. If I draw a City of Traders or Ancient Tomb, I can win. Gemstone Mine. I think Tinker would have won there as well. Yeah, anything that just is worth 2 mana, and Tinker's worth 3 mana in this spot. Gemstone Mine. I could just cast the Processor here and make them at least think about it. It cost me 3 life to cast it. I'm at 10. Then I have to pay some amount of life. Then I have to remember that Ancient Tomb and City of Brass are still my mana. And if I, yeah, every time I make a process, all right, yeah, I blew it. This card should not be in the deck. And I don't think investing the Devourer where all their disenchants can hit it is the way forward. And now I just need to draw any mana source. Sterling Grove and Serra Sanctum. This just became a very powerful turn. This can Vampiric Tutor for a enchantment at will. And with the ability to draw cards like crazy, if they have like Aura of Silence or something, they can have access to it here. Solitary Confinement. Well, all right, I can't beat that. I need to draw a bounce spell now in addition to everything else. Opalescence. All right, you got me. Yeah, I was 1 turn too slow on that one. And this Processor is awful. Good to know. All right, Processor out. Pyroclasm can kill Enchantress. Argothian Enchantress anyway. Sabo's Web. Do I just take the cantripping Tinker target or Tinker Enabler over these fringe cards that seem mid? Yeah, all right, I'll put a Web back in, even though obviously I don't think it's good for the matchup, but it might be important for my deck. Okay, on the play, I've got 2 Devourers in hand isn't ideal. I do have 2 cantrips and access to 4 mana. I'll keep. I'm going to play Sphere. And I think I'm just going to be cycling it off. With Gemstone Mine and Lotus Petal available, I don't need Sphere for colored mana. I need it to be a cantrip. Forest Growth. Ancient Tomb. That's exciting. Right, I'm going to cycle this for blue just in case I draw Tinker. I did not draw Tinker. Do I want to take 2 for Ancient Tomb to just get ahead? Yeah, I have 1-drops in my deck. I'll play the Web, leaving blue floating. All right, I'm glad I did that the way I did it. Just playing to the possibility that I hit another 2-mana source. Enchantress is here. Guile is here. I'm looking for one of my payouts. I'm otherwise rolled up. I need a Fling or an Altar. That can be an Altar. Okay, do I have the mana here? I have 2, 4, 6, 7 mana. I need to get Devourer into play and then Tinker the Altar. And this line does get broken up by Seal of Cleansing. Either way I do it. Either the Devourer's in play without Altar or vice versa. I could just Tinker a Devourer right now and make them answer it. Or no, but I don't need Devourer. I have 3 of those. I have 2 of those. I need the other one. I could play out a Devourer, but that would cost me Crystal Vein. But I think I can deal with that. All right, Devourer on the stack, and I'll pass. This puts them in the spot where they have to answer this, even though their deck's pretty good at doing that. But I have another one, and I have the other half of the combo if they don't convert here. Wild Growth is a redraw. Wild Growth is a redraw. Sarah Sanctum, all right, they could throw a lot of cards at me this turn. But the cool thing about this spot is if they have Seal, they have to use it immediately, because if I untap and make a red source, Fling is on, and then Seal doesn't matter. Well, they have to play like I have Fling, even though I don't. Presence, if they have Solitary Confinement here with a double hit, Parallax Wave, that can exile the Devourer. It will eventually go away, maybe, though. And if I draw Fling, I actually just have it. Fling? Crystal Vein? Shit. Okay, I might have to power this back up and do it all at once, though that felt like my window, and the window closed. Wild Growth draws 2. With 8 cards in hand and 2 Enchantresses active, if they find Solitary Confinement, they will be able to keep it forever. A 3rd Enchantress, still haven't tapped their Sarah Sanctum this turn, and they still have a land drop. Down to exclusively white mana here, which is not... I mean, it's cool that they can't keep powering out Enchantresses, but their white cards are the answers to what I'm doing. That's the Seal of Cleansing, the Solitary Confinement, the Aura of Silence. There's a Seal. I'm still okay if I draw Fling. Not anymore. Okay. Now I have to draw a Bounce Spell and Fling before they find Opalescence to kill me. Skip your draw step, which means Sylvan Library doesn't work either. I did bring in the bounce spells. I'm not going to concede here. Chromatic Star. I think I'm just going to cycle that off immediately. Sack for blue. Another star. I'll play that. Tinker doesn't have anything to do here. This is a sad state of affairs. I'll cycle this off for another blue and hit another star. Or sphere. We're moving. We're seeing more cards. I think this one I'm going to cycle off in their end step and give myself a chance to hit a bounce spell for Solitary Confinement. If they have Opalescence, I'm just dead, and it doesn't matter. 5 cards left in hand, 3 Enchantresses active. 2nd Seal of Cleansing. Guile. All these Ancestral Recalls firing off. It would be weird if they can't draw their deck this turn. Aura of Silence. Artifacts and enchantments cost 2 more to cast. Well, can't do anything about that. Opalescence. I'm going to have to try to cycle Chromatic Sphere into a bounce spell and bounce Opalescence before I take a million here. And they have Parallax Wave combo options here. Everything's attacking. I'm going to cycle for a blue and hope it's a bounce spell. It's the Fling. All right, GG. I don't know if this matchup is particularly hard, or maybe I just needed to mulligan more aggressively, but it certainly feels hard with the fact that their engine can overwhelm mine and they have so many ways to lock me out, and they're one of the better main deck disenchant decks because their disenchant is also Ancestral Recall and Grizzly Bear. All right, on to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. I'm going to keep... I have Protection, Ramp, half my combo, and some Dig. I'm going to lead on Crystal Vein. An Island. Is this good news? A 2nd Crystal Vein. All right. I think I want the defense grid down before counterspells kick in. And there are counterspells that work here. Foil, Daze, Force Spike, whatever they could have. But actual counterspell, let's put something in front of it. Though this play does incentivize them to just jam Dreadnought Stifle if they have it. Okay, Impulse. And they had to do it on their own turn. Love that. I could develop this turn. I'm going to do that. I can go Mind Stone and then also Impulse. There's Fling. Do I have the mana to do all of that? No, I have one color. I can Tinker for Devourer, but I need a colored mana to Fling. I think with Tinker available, I would like to bank the Fling, and I'll figure out the rest of this later. At 3 mana showing, they can foil me. So this is representing a potential counterspell in the format. I'm going to Impulse again. This Gemstone Mine gets one more shot. Okay, there's a Gemstone Mine. I'll play that one. And I have Ascend for next turn. If they spend mana on almost anything here, I'm okay. Yeah, Gush, if they hit their land drop, they still only have 2 mana, and that's not enough to foil me through. Parallax Tide, okay. Well, they better exile all my lands right now. And it looks like they're going to. Alright. Bad news, team. I think the ship has sailed and I'm going to get my ass stifled. Bummer. Alright, yeah, that was the key turn, and they had what they needed. And Parallax Tide, like, there is a blue Tide deck that is dedicated to doing this, and then there's Dreadnought decks that play, like, 1 or fewer Tides. Or like 1 or 2. If this is the one of just getting my ass, that I hate that, but if it is dedicated Tide, they got me. Okay, do you have the Stifle? I have to assume you do. Yep. Alright, well, I'm not going to concede yet. Deck's full of mana, I could try to rebuild. Still gushing over there. Another grid. I'm going to discard Sabo's Web. Though that is a cantrip that is tinkerable. Yeah, it's still the discard. A City of Traders. I expect this to get countered, but that's why I kept the second one. Gushing in response, alright. It's a lot of gush. Impulse in response, alright, it's not going to get countered. Well, they could foil it, always, but I'll take a 3 for 1. Sweet. Okay. Deal, I guess. Alright, shrimp time. I'm going to have 2 more turns this game. Defense grid, get in. Second foil, okay. That might have been use it or lose it. That might have been actually important. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I draw a source of blue or red mana, I do have an attempt here. That's not what I meant. Okay. If this cycles into a 2 mana source, we could do it. I'll make blue here. Shit. Alright, there's not an answer to Dreadnought I can tinker for. Alright. 1 more mana and we actually have a game. 1, 2, 3. I could tinker for Devourer, but that would just jump block and die. Okay. Got me with the wave. Or the tide, whichever one that was. The tide. I like bounce spells, I like red blasts. They're a big time counterspell deck. They're not a Sabo's Web deck. Can you board out Devourers? I feel like you probably can. Like 1, not a lot, but some. Rushing River can challenge Dreadnought or Tide. I could see this being a processor matchup too. Though maybe I just believe in this card too much. We've seen Chain of Vapor, which is not great for Phyrexian Processor. You don't have to bring in all the swarms. It's not trivial to cast, and I do have grids, blasts, and some swarms already. And spells aren't the only thing going on. Do I want Factor Fiction? Like, is this... Am I going to have time for that? Is that the game plan I'm setting up? And against a blue deck, it would make sense that this would be one of the places I do want Factor Fiction, but I also want these sideboard cards. Okay, I'm going to do this. I could see doing more, but this deck is particularly complicated to sideboard with because everything seems so important. Alright, I'm going to keep, and I could ram out a turn 1 grid or a turn 1 Xantid Swarm. And I think I like grid, because that makes Xantid Swarm also pretty sweet. Okay, I'm going to go Chromatic Sphere, cycle for green, Mind Stone. Would I rather have Mind Stone or Xantid Swarm in play? Crystal Vein. I think I would actually rather have Mind Stone in play. Okay, another Sphere. Yeah, I'll flip this into green. Found a Fling. That's cool. Gemstone Mine, Altar of Dementia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have Ascend next turn with multiple layers of protection. They have to start answering my stuff to get out of this one. Alright, when Xantid Swarm attacks, defending player can't cast spells this turn. This now turns off Foil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Phyrexian Devourer. Cool. I like that. I think that's the type of game I want to play. I don't want to be boarding in more bounce spells to respect Dreadnought. Unfortunately, if they do just have 2-land Stifle Dreadnought, I would struggle really hard to beat that. Even though I do have 4 bounce spells in my sideboard that could be in, but aren't. I think I'd rather just try to kill them. Okay, I am going to try to kill them. Oh, this mana is messy. I have all kinds of action on the combo, though. Alright, I'll keep. Portent targeting yourself. Okay, I like that. That lets me get Xantid Swarm in. And I am going to play out Petal, just in case Daze is here. Swarm, also found my next land. Foil, hell yeah. Make you discard 3 cards immediately. I mean, I have this Pyroblast, I'll deal with that later. Another Sphere. I'm going to play Altar of Dementia and hold the Sphere back. I think I just want Pyroblast up without having to invest extra mana into stuff. If they go for Dreadnought Stifle, I can stop that. I can counter a Tide next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 mana away now. I guess I will play out the Sphere. And I'm going to cycle it for green. Ooh, I hit Tinker. I can play Tinker here and protect it with Blast, but it would cost me my Altar. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I would have to sack Lotus Petal, then I can't Blast, or I could get Altar, and then I can't do the other thing. Yeah, I'm just going to have to pass here. The opponent has 4 islands showing. Well, alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Phyrexian Devourer with Pyroblast available. I think I'm going to let the Gush resolve and try to fight the counterspell. Hardcast Foil, Pyroblast. That's 3 foils spent already this game. Oh, Daze got my ass. Alright. I'll just have to tinker into it next turn, but I need an artifact to do that. But I have Fling, so I don't need the Altar. Okay, this could get ugly. Tinker, the Altar. Dang it. Alright, I need another artifact now. That's an artifact. Chromatic Sphere. Tinker. Exactly enough left to Fling. Alright, they got my number. Yeah, that Daze just cooked me. And now I'm basically out of gas. They stopped quadruple send. It was a triple send with Pyroblast backup. I accept, I guess. I'm going to play Sphere and not do anything with it. Now I'm in a rebuild phase. Flash of Insight for 2, and then the next one could go for 85,000. Just Demonic Tutor. My Ancient Tomb has put me into single Dreadnought territory. Oh shit, I forgot about City of Traders and just put that into play. Dumbass. Alright. Certainly 2 mana won't be really important later when I'm trying to do 8 mana worth of stuff in a turn. Yeah, that was really bad. Flash for 8 in the end step. Impulse. They should be able to make Dreadnought with counter protection this turn. Dreadnought. Stifle. Okay, I guess I will cycle Sphere for blue. Just trying to find Hoodwink and pretend it's going to resolve. Okay. The clutch Daze. They play 4 foil, 4 counterspell, and like 1 or 2 Daze. So just having it in that spot and then the counterspells to follow it up. I could have waited to play around Daze, but then I unlocked the counterspells on that turn that they were tapped low. I could have just been a lot more patient and waited for a Defense Grid or a Xantid Swarm to show up. But they did also counter a Xantid Swarm this game, so that was counter Xantid Swarm, counter Devourer, counter Pyroblast, counter Tinker, counter Tinker. That was a quintuple stop. I think other than playing out this Shivan Reef and sacking City of Traders after I was already cooked, I played this game alright. Sometimes they just have it. Alright, on to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online.
Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the draw in round 3. This hand does not have enough mana to play the game. I'm going to mulligan it. This one does have mana. It's got 2 payoffs. It can cast Tinker. I'll keep. And do I want to get rid of one of the payoffs or one of the webs? And web is really good in some matchups and a blank in others. It's a cantrip that sacks to Tinker either way, so I'll keep the webs. Floated Strand. Portent. That's Island Ponder Keep in this format. They shuffled. Wow, Lion's Eye Diamond. I honestly don't know what that is. I don't play enough of this format to know what's going on below the surface, and I know there are like Doomsday and Ill-Gotten Gains Storm decks, but I don't know how to identify them from this little information. Burning Wish, hell yeah. Replenish. Okay, so is this like put Replenish on the stack, sack LED in response, have a bunch of junk in your graveyard all of a sudden? If so, that's pretty cool. I would rather have Altar in play, but I do need to cantrip and get something going. I don't think Sabo's Web is going to win me this game, but I need some action. A Tinker would be great. City of Brass. Still one short of that Replenish. All right, I am made of Altars of Dementia. I am deeply demented. I think what I want to do here is develop an Altar and just give myself a chance to rip Tinker next turn and win. Something's happening in the instep. Are we going to Intuition for some hard lock? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to lose to Tide, exiling all my lands forever. Oh, all right. This is way cooler than that. Oh, I'm going to die to getting burned out from Pandemonium Opalescence, just doming me for 20 plus all at once. I accept. Oh, no, it's going to be way more than 20 because each one is going to do it. Oh, Sapperling Burst. Sure. Yeah, that does it too. So you make a Sapperling. I take 18, and then you could do a lot more, but you don't have to. Nice. Okay, cool. I like that. What do I have that interacts with that? I could bounce some enchantments. That doesn't interact with what we just saw. I don't play Graveyard Hate of any kind. Do I have to just be faster than them? Or we saw Intuition and Portent. There are blue cards in their deck. Sabo's Web does not seem like it's doing much. Sabo's Web, as someone with probably 30-ish matches of Premodern under my belt in my life, Sabo's Web is in so many main decks, and it appears to be for 1 or 2 decks that it completely shit clowns, and then I just board it out in every other matchup. I'll bring in a Hoodwink, just in case I have to answer something, but I think going fast and having a couple of Red Blasts is where I really want to be here. Okay, my lands all die when I use them. I don't have any part of the combo. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, this is a fast Tinker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I get this Devourer into play, or should I be putting things to the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I think I'm just not going to ram out the Mind Stone. I'm going to keep and bottom Lotus Petal and just hope I draw some more stable mana to be able to develop this plan I have. I have A, B, and Protection. I just need mana to get A online. Mox Diamond also in their deck. City of Traders discarded. City of Traders played. Please cast Tinker. They did not Tinker directly into my Pyroblast. Okay, I like this Shivan Reef. Now I'm building out, and I could tap out for Mind Stone, but I don't want to for exactly this reason. We're not doing this. That's what I sideboarded that in for. Okay, they seem to be fiddling a little bit here. Oh, hold on. 1, 2 plays Altar. Yeah, I can't play Alter and Tinker this turn, but I can play Alter and be ready to Tinker next turn, or just play Devourer. And I gotta hope they don't have another Intuition, and if they do, that they don't have the follow-up Replenish. Chill. Okay. Hopefully they needed both of these Intuitions to do what they want. Like, Intuition to set up, then Intuition for triple Replenish might have been their plan here, and if I need one turn to breathe. One turn to do my thing. Triple LED, that's scary as hell. Okay. I hope the entire win is not in their hand right now. So they would need a land to get to 4 mana, to put Replenish on the stack, and then enough to win. After that, Burning Wish. Okay, so sack LED, float. Okay, this is just Sapperling Burst. I can beat that. Oh, but they made red? Oh, Primitive Justice, oh my god. Destroy any number of artifacts. So they could destroy my 2 things here. Okay. Alright, well, that could have been worse. And I got some rebuilding to do, but that definitely could have been worse. I don't think it benefits me to... Or, hold on. What are the mana values in my deck? 6. So I do have other Devourers in the deck. I was thinking what the safety plan is to... Like, if I just play out this Devourer, how big can I make it? But it would leave me with 2 mana and a 1/1 in play. But my opponent has nothing going on. I'm going for it. Devourer, pass. I don't need to make any decisions yet. If I draw, like, Mind Stone, I can just wait a turn and set up the Tinker. Okay. That doesn't Tinker yet. I'm just going to go for 1, and my next mana kills them. I can't pay for Tinker with Lotus Petal and also sack Lotus Petal to Tinker. So any mana, or I could just draw that. Altar of Dementia. Did we do it? I'm going to attack. Do my 1 damage. I'll take it. And then exile, 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 exile. I have to now respond to that. I have to get this to 46. I hope my deck costs that much. 30, 33, 35, 38, 40, 46. Okay, please don't have Gaia's Blessing. Okay, we did it. All right, opponent stumbled a little bit. Countering the first of 2 impulses, or intuitions, actually mattered a lot. I don't see any other lines here. Yeah, the bounce just doesn't break up some of their stuff they're trying to do. Hydroblast. Oh, they have Burning Wish. Okay, Hydroblast should be in. I'm looking for literally anything that does anything. And I can cut the last Sabo's Web. Okay, I'll try that. I did see Burning Wish game 1 too, and didn't react to it. Ass ton of mana. No real plan. Alright, I am going to keep this. 2, 4, 6. This can go off so fast with just a little bit of help. There it is. There's the help. Chromatic Sphere. It weirds me out all the good colors their deck gets to play. A Mind Stone. I do still have my defense grids in if I want some increased confidence. That also makes them intuition on their own turn. They can't just turn the corner on mine. Oh, do they have it all? Not yet. Oh, there's a grid. Does that do anything important? It might just protect their combo. I'm going to play City of Traders and filter Chromatic Sphere into blue. This lets me see another card before I start doing stuff. Defense Grid. Oh, that just resolved. Interesting. I like that. All right, that lets me Impulse. Found another Impulse. Guess I have to take Impulse. Well, they're not going to Intuition in my end step. And now Intuition has to happen on their own turn. Red in the pool. Burning Wish. Oh no, they just had it. The hand is just 2 Pandemoniums and a Burst. GG. Yeah, even the ability to Tinker Phyrexian Furnace would completely flip how this matchup works. Not to doubt a tournament-winning deck from someone who understands the format much more than I do, but certainly I am absolutely feeling the fact that Tinker only does one thing in the deck, when I'd really like it to solve my problems and not just create problems, but it could do both. Okay, we're going to keep playing. We'll get a win somewhere. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Receivables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Receivables has it at youtube.com/TheReceivables. I am on the play in round 3. I have access to all the pieces. I'm going to jam out this web first. That's Tinker Fuel. Hitting more mana is nice. An island. Ancient Tomb. Am I ready for that? All right, I'll play Gemstone Mine and Altar of Dementia. This invests a combo piece on the board, and now if the opponent ever blinks, they die. Uh-oh, is it the mirror match? Another web. I'm going to cantrip again. If I can find a grid or something that lets me go off with extreme confidence, that's super cool. I guess now I can go for it. I tinker away a web, and then I just cast one of the other Devourers next turn. Counterspell is in this deck. Good to know. I have 3 sends in a row. Okay, another Ancient Tomb. I think I would rather take a counter off this Gemstone Mine than go to 6 here. If this one doesn't work, I have to slow down. Cumulative Knowledge, that's probably a good sign. Sick. All right. Let's party. All right, we got 9, 11, never forget, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 21, 23, 25, 27, 29, 32, 38, 40, 42, 43, 45, 48. That's not 49. Let's get it all. 50. Hey, blast you. Please don't have Guy's Blessing. Okay. They haven't conceded. Oh, here we go. Conceded 1 second too late. I get to look at what they're doing. It is a blue-red Parallax Tide deck. We got Powder Kegs, Dust Bowl, some Tides, Fairy Conclave, Mana Leaks, and Counterspells, and Stifle. Stifle's actually terrifying. That can counter the Altar of Dementia ability. Okay, so I actually could have just been running into a brick wall there. Okay. Pyroblast coming in. Xanted Swarm coming in. We did see Fairy Conclave, which means, and Dust Bowl, which means Sabo's Web is not blank here, but I still think it's one of the weaker things. I could shave a Fling. This might be one where I shave a Devourer. Defense Grid's great. I didn't bring in all my Xanted Swarms against the last blue deck, and then I ended up getting Quintuple Counterspelled, so I'm going to try to make room for all of them. And I could actually bring in the webs here, because we saw some Fairy Conclaves and Dust Bowls, but if they're dead before they have 3 mana to use either of those things, I'm into that. Okay, I will try it like this. Defense Grid is here. My mana is a little sus, but I'm going to keep. I'm on the draw. I got a deck full of Ancient Tombs and stuff like that. There's like a Crystal Vein or a Shivan Reef would make my hand so much more comfortable. Star, Sphere, whichever one this is. This one. Blue over there. Gonna have a normal land. Ooh, a Mind Stone. I think that is worth the investment here. I'm gonna play out Lotus Petal first, and then I'll play Mind Stone. That plays around some soft permission. Make a blue, and my plan is just cast another Sphere. Cool. All right, now I have Ancient Tomb that can get this grid. That plays around Mana Leak. Impulse in the end step. Urkel's Recall not in this format, luckily. It was printed both before and after the pre-modern window. Okay, I'm going to go Defense Grid first. Null. Yep, got me. I'm going to play out another Sphere and not develop any further. Just having a free divination sitting on the battlefield sounds pretty cool. And with the Pyroblast and Xantid Swarms in the deck, having access to colored mana when I actually would like it on purpose sounds nice. All right, I made a Mind Stones here. I think I will pop one of these off, just in case we get there. Play Mind Stone, and use the Mind Stones to play Mind Stone. Accumulated Knowledge, good for 2 this time. There's that Fairy Conclave. A win con emerges. Lotus Petal. All right, I'm going to go Sachromatic Sphere for blue. I'm going to Impulse first, because if they want to counter something, I prefer it not be Tinker. City of Brass casts my spells moving forward. Impulse can find actual gas, though. All right, this is going to cost me one of my counters, but I'm going to Impulse. Playing and yet another Impulse. I guess I need the Impulse, right? And I don't want to put this Altar of Dementia on the stack, not when it's this easy for them to just shrug it off with a counterspell. I have so much mana, I could cast multiple spells in the same turn. Fact or Fiction, doing stuff. How about the other Fact or Fiction or these 4 cards? At Mana Leak, I don't care much about. Chain of Vapors, like, moderately disruptive. Yeah, 4-1. Not that I like doing this, but I'm just not that impressed by most of these 4 cards. But I'm very worried about a hard counterspell. Yeah, they took the 1. Did it right. I'm very worried about Parallaxed Tide showing up. I guess a lot of my mana isn't even lands, though. Okay, there's something. I'm going to play out Lotus Petal and pass, and I'm probably going to Impulse in the end step. There's the other Fact or Fiction. There's the Tide. Tide and a bunch of creature lands plus Chain of Vapor. I'm going 4-1 again, which is actually like kind of sneaky because the Tide is just okay. Yeah, they took the 4 this time. Identified that the Tide is not that good, and 2 of my lands are going to die anyway. Just over the natural course of this game. Powder Keg's not great news for Lotus Petal. I guess since you can keg me anyway, I will Impulse off of Petal instead of Gemstone Mine. They're both permanents that die when I use them. There's Defense Grid, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is still a counterspell up, but Grid is the type of thing I'm looking for. Discard to hand size, lost a Shivan Reef. Ooh. Big Xantid Swarm. They could Powder Keg that away. Alright, let's see if Defense Grid gets countered before I do anything else. Yeah, Powder Keg here, ready to tick up to 1 just in time. And they can't keg the Petal and the Swarm. I think it might be time to delete a Gemstone Mine. Xantid Swarm's in. End step AK for 3. I wonder if decking them is reasonable, which is funny because decking them is actually literally my plan. I am not going to send that Chain of Vapor back. Powder Keg did tick it up to 1. At 2, it becomes horrifying. Losing all these Mind Stones. Decided that they are ready to attack me, at least a little bit. City of Traders. Does that get me anywhere? Alright, I'm going to give up on Gemstone Mine and play Xantid Swarm. And I guess I will run out the City of Traders, because this game is getting into showdown mode. And if they do tick Powder Keg up to 2 and blow up all my Mind Stones, I would like to draw cards off of all of them, not just some of them. Okay, Powder Keg kills Xantid Swarm in my end step. Not even waiting on that one. Okay, there's a Tide. My lands actually matter a little bit now. Alright, you can have them. I can't stop you. Shivan Reef. I think I want to hold that. And I am going to run out Altar of Dementia here. I could have paid for Mana Leak. That was bad. I knew they had that. But it would have cost me Lotus Petal. It was still bad, but there was some thought that should have been had there. What I'm trying to do is find Pyroblast before this Tide ticks all the way down, so I could fight over the Stifle and maybe get my lands back. It's attacking time. I am dead next turn to combat. Yeah, maybe those Sabos webs are actually really important. I was thinking too much about my own plan when, in fact, my opponent has a plan too. And if they can't operate their lands, that's good news for me. Okay, I am deceased. Okay, does web go in here? Is that over like the factor fiction? Is my job grinding them or stopping them from doing their plan or shoving through? I don't think factor fiction, web, and Xantid Swarm all belong in the deck at the same time. You get two of those things. I am pretty infatuated with the idea of Xantid Swarm, though, especially now that I'm on the play. I don't want to cut the combo any lower. I guess I will leave in one web. Like, I could tinker for it in a pinch. Okay, I'll keep. This has access to colors of mana and a red blast. And I have both sides of the combo, though they are a ways away from being active. I'm really interested in a grid or a swarm. And I'm not going to cycle off Chromatic Sphere just to draw a card because that's one of my essential green sources. Impulse, cool. I can end step that one. Get some movement. Just like that. Okay, end step, Impulse. Xantid Swarm, there's my guy. All right, Xantid Swarm in the hand. Okay, now I have a way to do multiple things. Play Xantid Swarm. It resolved. Cool. Impulse. We know they play Chain of Vapors. They could bounce over this thing. I'm not completely ready to combo off, so I'm not going to Red Blast if they bounce this with Chain of Vapor, because if they bounce this, I Red Blast, and then they untap and play Parallax Wave, and then I have no mana for the rest of the game, or Parallax Tide, and then I have no mana for the rest of the game. That's not a good deal. We also know they have Stifles. They could stifle the Xantid Swarm trigger and try to just kind of buy time through that. I'm pretty cool with that plan, though, because I'm not even that ready to send it. I guess I'm 1-2 mana land away. It might be closer than we think. I would love to see a Stifle here. Cool. All right, that was basically just attack, discard. This creature flies. I regret to inform you. It's a bug. Look at those wings. Okay, I am 1 mana short, and I have Xantid Swarm doing the thing here. I'm going to be patient here. What I could have done is cycle off Chromatic Sphere. If it hits a +1 mana source, try to go off right now while they have 1 blue, but there's no reason to be that aggressive. Accumulated knowledge for 1. Island and passing the turn. Now Xantid Swarm is big money. Tinker, hell yeah. Okay, attack. Opponent can't cast spells. That's good for me. Gemstone Mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. That's what I need. 1, 2. Cycle for red. Even hit Lotus Petal. 3, 4, 5, 6. Devour. And I don't care about Gaia's Blessing or anything because I'm going face on this one. 13, 16, 18, 20. Fling. Pachow! We're on the board. Xantid Swarm winning matches. I've lost to so many Xantid Swarms in my life, and it's fun being the bad guy. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I am on the play for the final round. I'm going to keep. I've got grids and webs. I can do stuff. I'm going to go City of Brass and pass. I think I would actually rather have the potential 2 mana land down the stretch if I get just wastelanded here. This also represents more. City of Brass is in a bunch of different control decks that use Reflecting Pool to do what they want to do. And if I play Crystal Vein, my opponent knows that they don't really have to think about anything on their turn. Wooded Foothills. Uh-oh. Is it Goblin time? Goblin Tease Nuts? Or Burn? Okay. It looks like Burn, which is not a place that I want to have City of Brass in play, but that's all right. Ancient Tomb, is that worse or better? Almost certainly worse. Okay. I am going to take 1 damage here to play Altar of Dementia. And it's just going to be about speed. Can I go off before they can deal 20 to me? This web, this grid, all of it now irrelevant. The attack for 1 is in. I gotta keep in mind my life total is functionally 1 less than it may appear at all times because of Mog Fanatic. Crystal Vein's actually huge. Now I can do stuff without losing life. The web is something I can tinker away, which is important. This tinker is one of the ways I can steal this game. Pass. Defense grid lets me go off with confidence, or at least tap Ancient Tomb with confidence. All right, please don't have Ball Lightning. That card's so disrespectful when it hits you. Oh no, 3 mana. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I have to draw Tinker right now, and even that might not be good enough. I could die in the upkeep. Big Rips, Tinker, Lotus Petal. Okay, so they have 3 damage on board and 2 cards in hand. I need to kill them with Fling to be sure, but milling them out is not nothing. I'm not getting 2 more turns here, so I think what I have to do is sack Crystal Vein, use City of Brass, or I can use Lotus Petal and Crystal Vein, Impulse with a mana floating. Okay. I have to find Tinker here to even have a chance, but that might not be good enough. Blue, 1, 2, Impulse. If I find Tinker, I can do this without taking 1 from City of Brass, and 7 is meaningfully different than 6 because Lightning Bolt is a card that exists, and there's 3 damage face up on the board right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't actually do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I could take Devourer and hope they concede, even though I would be dead. 1, 2, 3. I guess I'm at 4. If their hand is completely blank, I gotta try it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if there is a single Lava Dart in their deck, if they have any instant speed burn in their hand, those things both kill me. Boy, do I wish they had done anything other than Ball Lightning me last turn. Getting 6 damage out of 1 card is so good. Phyrexian Devourer. If they have Fire Blast, they can kill me at will. But I was going to lose to that with this line anyway. And now basically I reveal my deck to them, win or lose. Playing to my outs involves giving them a lot of information. I also get a lot of information though, unless they have Fire Blast, because I get to see their whole deck when they mill it over. Not that I expect any surprises out of Burn. It's not a deck with a lot of nuance or flex slots. A 49 power. Delete your deck. There are Lava Darts in the deck. Okay, I'm just dead. What do I need to know about? I saw Price of Progress. I ended up taking 3 extra damage this turn because I found Devourer instead of Tinker. If I'm at 7, is that any better? 1, 2, 3. There are 1, 2 darts that I can see. That might have made a difference. Really depends on what their hand is. Maybe they won't see the line. Fingers crossed. All 4 Fire Blasts are in the graveyard. I only count 2 Lightning Bolts. Does that mean their hand is 2 bolts? Or am I just not seeing the other ones? I don't know. I don't think you play the first Incinerate until you play all 4 bolts. Whatever it is, I've certainly had way more time than I should to think about it because my opponent, who is probably double queuing. Alright, yeah, bolt from hand. Okay. Alrighty, the Hydroblast comes in. Is Pyroclasm where I want to be? Obviously, that could buy me a bunch of time. It could also just rot in my hand when I'm not comboing off. A defense grid means they can't burn me out over top of my combo, but that only matters if I'm flinging, because we go to their turn, they untap, then they burn me out in their upkeep if I try to mill them. Certainly not interested in Phyrexian Processor. Safe bet. Sabo's Web. They do have Barbarian Rings. And Web turns on Tinker, which I like. I think I like that more than I like Defense Grid. Though if they Pyroblast my Tinker, that shit is embarrassing. Maybe I do like Grid more than Web. I can play some of each. Okay. I will do that. I have access to a sideboard card. The best sideboard card that I play. Not that that's going to win the game on its own. It's not chill. I mean, like turn 1 chill off of a Lotus Petal would be pretty hot. But I also have red cards in my deck. Chill is not really a card we can play. The opponent mulled to 5. I'm not going to play out the Petal. I'm just going to hold on to the Hydroblast. I don't think there's anything they can do on turn 1 that would necessitate me sacking Lotus Petal to Hydroblast them, getting 2 for 1. If they just play some creature, I can bonk it. Can we get there on the Pyroclasm tech? Oh, the Tinker tech. That is a problem for later, I think. I'm going to go sack this for blue. Oh, even better. Got there on the Pyroclasm tech. Had to take a damage. Ended up taking a damage I didn't need to take to do it. And I will play out the Petal this time, because now getting into turn 2, something like Pyrostatic Pillar, I probably don't want to take damage to try to answer. Though, I don't even know if that's good against my deck. Price of Progress is a card I don't really want to be playing against. Ancient Tomb and pass. I would love to Hydroblast a Ball Lightning. Right, Lightning Bolt happens. Got him. Counter target spell if it's red. Gaining 6 life off of any spell is a good deal. And I'm in the spot where if I draw an Altar or a Fling, I'm in business. Preferably Fling. Ah! Got him. Okay. I need to sack the Petal, which means I need to play City of Brass. 1, 2, 3. Tinker. And the opponent should just die here. Phyrexian Devourer. I do have to take 3 to cast Fling, but I can respond to City of Brass's trigger. So I'm actually only taking 2. Okay, 17. 1, 2. Make a red. In response to that, deal 17 damage to my opponent. Who's the burn deck now? Right now I gotta be on the draw. And that was a mull to 5 for my opponent. Hoodwink doesn't bounce creatures, and Raging River's too slow to impact the creatures by the time we get there. I don't think I'm doing any of that. Yeah, I think this is what I got. I'm going back in with these cards. Just having that one of Hydroblast feels nice, because now I have to think about Hydroblast as a card that blue mana represents, even though I only have 1 and I'm not that likely to have it. For all they know, I have 4 of them, 6 of them. I have the wrong half here, but I do have both halves, but this is the mill win, and I have nothing to sacrifice to these Tinkers. I think I'm going to mulligan this hand. This Tinker just doesn't do what I need it to. If I could Tinker twice quickly, that might be something. But this is a turn 4, presuming I even find an artifact to play. And it's the mill kill, which might not be good enough. I think I'm going to mulligan this. It sucks, but okay. Yikes. 2 City of Brass, not where you want to be against burn. But I do have the Fling, and I have material to sack to a Tinker. I do believe in this hand more than I believed in the last one, though. I really wish one of these City of Brasses was just any other land. Right, I'm going to keep and get rid of Devourer, because I'm not going to have time to tap 6 mana for that thing. Much less have another 2 to fling it. Jackal Pup. Lotus Petal. I think I want to use Petal, because that will save me a ton of damage over the course of the game. Because if I use Petal to get Mind Stone out now, then I can use Mind Stone to Chromatic Sphere to Impulse, and that's going to save me tapping multiple City of Brasses over the course of the game. Even though it does deny me a mana, which might be important on a critical turn. I'm getting jacked. Okay, a land that doesn't kill me. I like that. I'm going to play... Do I want to play Gemstone Mine? I'm going to cycle this for a blue. Altar. That's still not what I want. I'm going to Impulse now. There are 1-drops in my deck. There's the Devourer, but also a land that doesn't kill me. I think I just have to play to Tinker, and I can't be putting Devourers in my hand. Ooh, nothing in the end step. No chip shots. Probably getting my lightning balled here. God, that card's good. I'm at 9. Sabo's Web. And it's a cantrip. Play the web. No Barbarian Rings over there for my opponent. An Altar. It would cost me a life to play Altar. Being at 8 puts me to 6, and literally dead to Ball Lightning if I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have exactly enough mana to win if I top deck Tinker without having Altar of Dimension involved. And I'd have to tap City of Brass twice if I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 3 times. It would be at 8, 6, mill them out. I'm trying to think if the Altar line is even worth playing towards at the expense of my life, and I don't think it is. Gotta rip Tinker here. Jackal Pup. There was no Ball Lightning to join it this time. Though Jackal Pup has officially become Ball Lightning, it's done 6 this game. That turn they just left 2 mana unspent could indicate Price of Progress or Fire Blast. Those are big spells that get more value or just become a better part of the plan later in the game. I'm hoping it means they're kind of flooded or they drew Lava Dart or like one of the bad cards in the deck. Sulfuric Vortex is pretty low damage output for the mana spent. I don't think they would have just been sitting on Lightning Bolts and Incinerates and not sent it to the face. But if they have one of those, I think they drew it in the last 1 or 2 draw steps. I just gotta hope the hand is like 3 more Jackal Pups or something. No burn. Certainly none of the big ones like Price of Progress. Overloading my Mind Stone. Tough. Okay, I mean, nothing to be done about that. That doesn't change that Tinker is lethal. Tinker! Oh my god. Alright. You're saying there's a chance. Tinker. And if they have Pyroblast, I'm just dead. Alright, Devourer is here. I can fling in response to the 2 City of Brass triggers. So I'm actually going off at 7 life here. Can we top deck Tinker for the win? I could also just kind of park this 5/5 in front of Jackal Pup and see what my opponent does. I'm going to do that. Fling's an instant. What could I lose to? Like Price of Progress plus Lightning Bolt in response? Okay, I might be rolling some seriously stupid dice here. Okay, Grim Lavamancer that they didn't play last turn and didn't use any mana on for that whole cycle. I feel like their hand is just some blank shit. And if I draw a Hydroblast or a second Send here, attack with Phyrexian Devourer, as Garfield intended. And now I actually take less damage from a Price of Progress in response because Gemstone Mine's untapped. We're chump blocking with Grim Lavamancer. That's the place we're in. Okay. I'll pass the turn. If they fetch, I'll kill them in response. All right. We've parked the vehicle. I'm going to try to go for it here. Because the Jackal Pup chip shot actually matters now. 7. Their 2 cards in hand have to be Fire Blast plus Lightning Bolt. Or I guess double Price of Progress maybe. 19. Make red. Make red. Fling with the trigger on the stack. 7 life, not 5. Mana Confluence could never. Do you have 7 points of instant speed burn? Right, meow. Lava Dart. I'm at 6. I'm functionally at 5. Is there any one card in their deck that can deal 5? There's not, because I can lose the Gemstone Mine. Big Price of Progress doesn't do it here. Fire Blast. That's not enough. You're 1 short. What a tight game. Okay. I'm at 1. You're out of plays. Hell yeah, that was sick. Okay, a rally at the end there. But look at this. All of these matches were 2-1, which means we never got stomped. And several of these were close at like to the point where, you know, that one where my opponent had 5 counter spells and 4 of them were free, like that sort of thing. And I don't know how to play this deck, not intimately. I know, what the basics are. You're supposed to throw Phyrexian Devourer at your opponent, but both mulligans and sideboarding, which are essential skills in a combo deck, especially one as linear as this, I was sloppy on. And maybe I found some right answers, maybe I didn't, but it's not like I have 100 reps with this deck and significant knowledge about what all of my opponents could do to stop me. I was just kind of vibing and turning one or two of those 2/1s or 1/2s into 2/1s, that could just be a matter of reps and sideboarding better. As far as the deck itself, I'm glad the league ended with a top deck Miracle Tinker when I was about to be out of hope. I'm glad we also got to showcase the winning with a lethal City of Brass trigger on the stack line. That was cool. Again, played against a bunch of different decks who had a bunch of different types of interaction. And the thing that excited me about playing this deck is not necessarily this deck itself. I think it's a little shovier than I want it to be. And not really being able to do anything else with Tinker. Feels like we're not using Tinker to its full potential. But that's just my vibe. But Tinker was still extremely satisfying to cast every time it came up in this league, and it excites me for the idea of Premodern and exploring Tinker Shells a little more with something a little more toolboxy, less combo-y. It also excites me that this deck exists, even if it's not really exactly what I want to be doing. Either way, I had a great time. This will not be my last Premodern video. In my last one, I said I was out of requests and wasn't sure if any more would come in, but after that video was recorded, I got this one, and there's another one still coming, so there will be at least one more Premodern video before it leaves Magic Online, hopefully temporarily. But I don't know what the plan is for that. I'm going to leave this one here. Elendrill, thank you for submitting it. Dr. Rich J, I hope you're doing well. As always, congrats on doing well in a tournament with a dope-ass deck. Everyone, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.